While working with a huge set of data in Microsoft Excel, search box is an important tool to find particular data. A search box makes an Excel worksheet more dynamic and handier. Hey there, Excel enthusiasts! Welcome to Exceldemy, your go-to destination for mastering Excel and Excel VBA related challenges. I'm Shahriar, Abrar, Rafid, and in today's video, I'll be showing a detailed guide on how to create a search box in Excel. So let's roll up our sleeves and get started. For this tutorial, I'll be using Microsoft Excel 365. Consider the following dataset with a list of transactions. I want to create a search box, and based on my search, I want to filter out my dataset and show the relevant search results. In the first method, I want to get the exact match for my search. That means it will look for exactly what I searched for. Firstly, I'll create a search range in the G4 to H4 range. Then copy cells in the B4 to E4 range, press Ctrl+C to copy them, and paste them in the G6 to J6 range using Ctrl+V. Let's change the fill color. My search results will appear below this range starting from cell G7. Merge and center the heading. Select cell styles and select heading 2. Increase the font size to 14, and that's it. Now go to cell G7 and type the formula equal to. Here I'll use the filter function. Press tab to choose the filter function. As the array argument, select B5 to E14. Insert comma. As the include argument, I'll insert C5 to C14, which is the customer name column, equal to H4, which is the search box. Place a comma, and as the if empty argument, I'll write no match found. Close the parenthesis and press enter. The filter function considers the entire dataset in the B5 to E14 range and filters it based on the condition that the customer names in the C5 to C14 range should match the searched value in the search box of H4 cell. If there's a match, the corresponding value of this data range will be displayed. Otherwise, it will show no match found. The search box is now ready to work. Input a name into the search box. I am entering the name Bob. Press enter. And here's the result. You can see there are 2 Bobs in the dataset. But this formula has a drawback. It can only fetch the exact matches. For example, if I typed just B in the search box and press enter, it would show no match found. It couldn't show the results starting with B. Let's improve the limitation of the last method. In this method, I'll show you another way that can find partial matches also. That means if you type R in the search box, it will show all the customer names associated with leading R and their respective rows. Similar to the previous method, I've already created a new field in the G4 to J6 range. Input the formula in the G7 cell equal to. Here, I'll also use the filter function. Press tab. As the array argument, I'll select B5 to E14, comma. In the include argument, I'll use another function which is the ISNUMBER function. As the value argument of the ISNUMBER function, I'll use another function which is the search function. Press tab to select it. As the find text argument, I'll select the H4 cell plus comma, and as the within text argument, I'll select C5 to C14. Close the parenthesis, again close the second parenthesis, give a comma, and as the if empty argument, I'll write no match found. Close the parenthesis and press enter. The search function looks for the text in the search box within the customer name column. It checks whether the search term is anywhere within these cells. If the search term is found within that range, it returns a numerical value which is the position of the search term in the text. Otherwise, it gives us a value error. The ISNUMBER function checks if the result of the search operation is a number or not. If it's a number, it returns true, otherwise false. The filter function then uses this condition to filter the data in B5 to E14. It returns only the rows where the condition is true. Now, go to the search box in cell H4 and just type R. Press enter. Look, it's returning all the customer names that start with an R. In the previous 2 methods, I just have searched the value in the customer name column. Let's say you want to search with the customer ID. How could you do that? That's very easy. You just have to make a simple change in your formula. First, try it with the exact match. Here is my previous formula. You just have to add other columns in the include argument with plus sign. So let's change the formula. First, let's copy this part of the formula. Press Ctrl C. Put an addition symbol, paste the selected part, again put an addition symbol, paste the selected part, again a plus symbol, and paste the copied part. Now let's change the cell reference according to their respective columns. For customer ID, I have to change it to B5 to B14. For bill, I have to change it to D5 to D14. And for status, I have to change it to E5 to E14. Just press enter. Now you can search for any field from customer ID, customer name, bill, or status. Let's try with the status field. Type paid in the search box. Press enter. And yeah, it's working. Now do the same thing for the partial match method. Edit the formula, copy this part, and paste them with the addition sign. Now let's change the cell reference. For customer ID, change it for bill, and it's for status, and press enter. Let's try with a new entry in the search box. Input a value from the customer ID. I'm checking with 110. Press enter. This formula is working perfectly. In this section, we'll learn the method to create a search box using the ISNUMBER function. It's a conditional formatting procedure. It highlights only the searched value in the dataset. I have created the same search box in the G4 to H4 range. Now, select the entire dataset in the B5 to E14 range. Go to the Home tab. In the Styles group, click on the Conditional Formatting drop-down and select the New Rule option. It will open the New Formatting Rule dialog box. Select Use a formula to determine which cells to format as the rule type. Now, I'll type my formula in the format values where this formula is true box equal to ISNUMBER. As the value argument, I'll insert the search function. Give a parenthesis. Now, as the find text argument of the search function, I'll select cell H4. Insert a comma, and as the within text argument, I'll select cell B5. Close the parenthesis. The search function finds the position of the text string in cell H4 within another text string in cell B5. It returns the starting position of the first occurrence of the search string in the text or returns a value error if the search string is not found. The ISNUMBER function checks if the result of the search function is a number. If it is, ISNUMBER returns true, indicating that the search string was found in that text of cell B5. If it's not a number, meaning the search string was not found, then ISNUMBER returns false. This formula checks if a specific text or substring exists within another text cell in Excel. Then conditional formatting will be applied to the cells which return true. After that, click on the Format button. The Format Cells window will be open. From the Fill tab, select any color. Here I am selecting the Gold Accent 4 Lighter 60% color. Then press OK. You can preview the selected color. Again press OK to close the dialog box. Hence, you will see the whole dataset formatted with the selected color. Because the search box is now empty, which means there is an empty string in it, and each cell in the dataset has an empty string within itself. That's why they are now formatted. Now, search for the name Pam in the search box in cell H4 and press enter. And here it's working. In the last method, you have seen how to highlight one cell using a search box. But what if you need to highlight the entire row of the search text? Don't worry, this method has you covered. Again, select cells ranging from B5 to E14. Open the New Formatting Rule dialog box like before. Select Use a formula to determine which cells to format. At this time, I'll use a new formula in that box equal to search function. Give a parenthesis, select cell H4, comma, as the within text argument, write B5, ampersand operator, C5, ampersand operator, D5, and cell E5. Here, I have used $sign for absolute reference so that the column number doesn't get changed. Now, close the parenthesis. Here, this part of the formula concatenates the values in these cells, which means the customer ID, the customer name, bill, and status columns together. The ampersand operator is used to join these values into a single string. Then, the search function searches for the value in cell H4 within the concatenated string. If this is found, the conditional formatting will be applied in the concatenated cells. After that, click on the Format button. The Format Cells window will be opened. Here, I will use the same formatting color as before. Click OK. Again, click OK. Now, in cell H4, search for any data according to the dataset. Here, I will search for the name Pam, which I have searched before. Press enter. you will find the full row which has the searched data highlighted with the selected color. You can create a search box for multiple sheets also. For example, you have multiple sheets of data of the same type and you want to find some information from them. To do this, you have to incorporate your search functionality through all the worksheets. You can use conditional formatting and VBA macros for doing this. For detailed information, you could watch our video on how to create a search box for multiple sheets in Excel. Get the link from the description box or you can click the card at the top right corner of your screen. In this section, I'll create a search box in Excel with VBA with two option buttons to search for two different situations. One will filter if the searched letter matches the first letter of the value, and the other one will filter if the value contains the searched letter. First, I'll move by dataset from cell B4 to cell B7. So, select the entire dataset and bring the cursor to the corner of the selection, and it becomes like a four-headed arrow. Now, click on the cursor and move the selection to cell B7 and release it. Then, I'll convert my data into a table. Select any cell inside the dataset. I'm selecting cell C9. Go to the Insert tab. In the Tables group, click on the table icon. Or you can press Ctrl+T as the keyboard shortcut. You can see the entire dataset is selected automatically and click OK. It's now converted into a table. Then I'll insert a text box. To do this, I have to enable the Developer tab first. Right-click on any tab on the ribbon and select Customize the Ribbon option. It will open the Excel options window. Here, check the box of Developer option and click OK. Hence, the Developer tab is now visible. Go to the Developer tab. In the Controls group, click on the Insert drop-down icon and select Text Box from the ActiveX controls. After that, click and drag your mouse cursor where you want your text box. Now, right-click on the text box, then select Properties from the context menu. Here, the Properties window is now visible. Next, select a cell in the worksheet that is blank as linked cell. Here, click on the linked cell option and give the reference of cell D4. Now, close the window. Then, I'll insert the option buttons. In the Insert tab, select the option button from ActiveX controls. Click and drag your mouse cursor where you want the option button to be placed. After that, insert another option button in the same way. I'll change the caption of the option button. Right-click on the option button 1 and select Properties. Write the caption as you want. Here, I am changing it to first letter. You can see the caption has changed. Similarly, change the caption of the second button to contains letter. Close the window. Now, I'll name the table because I will need the table name to write the VBA code. Select any cell from the table, go to the Table Design Contextual tab, name the table as you want. Here, I'll name it Dataset 1. Now, double-click on the text box. After that, a module will open with a private sub on it. Write the VBA code in that module. If option button 1, then list objects. Here, I'll insert the table name dataset 1. Close the parenthesis. Dot range dot autofilter fill equal to 2. Comma. Now I'll get the remaining portion of this line into the next line. So give a space and underscore, then press enter. Criteria 1 equal to D4 ampersand operator and asterisk symbol, comma operator is equal to Excel filter values. Else, again I have to type the same here, so just copy and paste it. Just I have to place an extra asterisk sign before the D4 cell reference. Give an ampersand operator, and that's it. Now let's end the if statement. Here we can see that there is a private sub-procedure created by the text box, which denotes the change event. That means whenever a change happens in this text box, it will call this macro. And a private sub is only applicable for that specific sheet it is on. Then I use the if statement to give different results in two different situations. If the option button 1, which means the first letter button, is selected, then criteria 1 is selected as D4 cell and an asterisk sign for the range.autofilter method. This means it will filter the values that start with the searched letter in the text box. Else, criteria 1 is selected as asterisk sign and D4 and again an asterisk sign for the range.autofilter method. That means it will filter the values that contain the searched letter anywhere inside the text. Here, as the field, I use 2. Because it will search the value in the second field of my table, which is the customer name column. After that, I ended the if statement and finally I ended the sub procedure. Let's close the VB editor. Now, double-click on the first option button, that is first letter. Here another subprocedure is created in the same module. Now complete the code. Let's type call textbox1 change. Here textbox1 change is the name of this subprocedure. Here I use the call statement to call the subprocedure named textbox1 change. And this is a click event. So whenever we click on this option button, this event will get initiated and call the textbox1 change subprocedure. Next, double click on the contains letter option button, and this code will also call the same macro textbox1 change. So type call textbox1 change. Let's close the VBA editor. Now you can search in the search box whatever you want and select your preferred option button. Here I'll search for the letter B and I'll select the first letter option. Look, it's not working. But why? To know the reason, we have to go to the developer tab again. Here you can see that the design mode is turned on. You have to turn off the design mode before running the macro. Click on it and it's turned off. Now select the first letter option and type B in the text box. And the names that start with B are filtered. But if you search with O, you cannot find any results because there are no values starting with O. If I select the contains letter option, then it will show the result. You can notice that there are O's in each of these cells. In the previous method, I used the search box to search in a fixed column, which was the customer name column. In this method, I will expand the search to all the columns in my dataset. That means you can search for any value from any columns according to the dataset. To do this, I'll use UserForm in VBA. Firstly, go to the Developer tab and select the Visual Basic option from the code group of commands. Alternatively, you can press Alt F11 to do the same. It will open the Microsoft Visual Basic for Applications window. Now click on the drop-down menu of Insert User Form, then select User Form. Now a user form will appear. Right-click on the user form and select Properties. Now Properties for User Form 1 will appear on the left side of the VB editor. Here I'll change the back color of the user form. So select the black color, click on the drop-down option, go to the Palette tab and select the color you want for your background color. Here I'm selecting this color. Then change the caption if you want. Here I am changing mine to search box for variable fields. Look, the caption is changed. After that, select the user form, click on the toolbox option. It will open the toolbox. Using this toolbox, you can insert different components into the user form. Select label from the toolbox. Next, click and drag your mouse cursor where you want the label. Here you can see the label is inserted. In the same way, insert a combo box from the toolbox. Insert another label here. Last, insert a text box in the user form. Select all four of them together. Then change the height from the properties as you want. Go to the Categorize tab. Here you can find the height. I will change mine to 24. After that, right-click on any of the boxes. Click Align and select Tops. Here you can see all of the boxes have the same height and they are aligned at the top of the user form. Now, let's close the toolbox. Then change the caption of level 1 from the Properties window. Here I'll change mine to Field. Now click on the drop-down option for Font. In the Font dialog box, select font size as you want. Here I am selecting 16. You can change the font style and also the font from these sections. I'll change the font style to bold and click OK. Now I'll change Text Align. Here search for Text Align and here it is. Click on the drop-down option for Text Align. Select FM Text Align Center from the drop-down menu. Here you can see the caption is center aligned. Now change the caption of level 2 in the same way. I'll change mine to Search For. Next, I'll insert a list box into my user form. So again click on the user form, select Toolbox, select List Box, drag and drop it into the form. Finally, I have inserted everything I wanted in my user form. In this step, I'll write the VBA code to create a search box in Excel by using user form. Firstly, double-click on anywhere in the user form. A module for user form 1 will open with a private subprocedure on it. Now, click on the drop-down option and select Initialize. Delete the first subprocedure and write code in the newly created subprocedure. Team call long as integer. For call long 2 to 5. me.combobox1.add item, active sheet.cells, parenthesis 4, col nong dot value. Next, with me dot list box 1 dot column count equal to 4. Dot column width equal to 90 semicolon 90 90 semicolon 90. End with. Here I declared a variable named colNong as integer. After that I used a for loop to go through columns 2 to 5 because my dataset is in columns 2 to column 5. Next, I used the me keyword to make it behave like an implicitly declared variable. It actually indicates the user form. Then I used combobox1.addItem method to add the column headers of the dataset to the combo box. After that, I used a with statement to define the column count and column width in the list box 1. Here the column count is 4 as my dataset has 4 columns and I want to show them all in the list box. Then I ended the with statement, also I ended the sub procedure. Now double click on the combo box. Another sub procedure will be created in the same module. I'll paste my VBA code here. You can get all the codes from the article linked in the description box. I declared a variable named colNum as integer. After that I declared another variable named colHeaders. Next I used the array function to assign an array as colHeaders. After that I used a for next loop to go through columns 2 to 5. Then I used an if statement to check if the value in cell matches the value in combo box 1. If it matches, then the statement will return the field as colHeaders colNong -2, which will be the column that will be filtered. Let's say you have selected the customer name column from the combo box. It is in the C column, which is column number 3. So here it will be 3 minus 2, that is 1. And this 1 is the index number of this colHeaders array. We know that in array index number starts from 0. So B is of the 0 index number and C is of the index number 1. So column C will be assigned to the field variable. Next, I ended the if statement. Then I used the listbox1.clear to remove all data from listbox 1. After that, I used textbox1.value to specify the text in the text box and set it as blank. I also used the me keyword to make it behave like an implicitly declared variable. After that, I used textbox1.setFocus method to move focus to this specified field. Finally, I ended the sub procedure. Now, double click on the text box. Here, another sub procedure will be created. I'm pasting my VBA code here. I wrote on error resume next to continue to code if any error occurs. Then I used an if statement to check if the text box is blank. If it is blank, then the list box 1 will be cleared and it will exit the sub procedure. Then I declared a variable named row number as integer and another variable named last row number as integer also. Next, I used the range.endExcel property to find the last non-blank row number. After that, I used a for next loop to go through all the rows in a column. Then I used another if statement to see if the text in the text box matches the value in the cell. Here I used the left function to match from the beginning of the text. I also used the uCase function to convert the letter to an uppercase letter. Next, I used the with statement to add the item to the list box and make a list with the other 3 columns if the 2 values match. Then I ended the with statement. After that, I ended the if statement. Finally, I ended the sub procedure. Now, let's close the VBA editor. In this step, I'll insert a command button that will help to show the user form. You'll find it in the ActiveX control in the insert drop-down icon. Click and drag your mouse cursor where you want to place it. Right-click on the command button and select Properties. In the Properties window, you can change the caption from here. I am changing it to Open Search Box. Also, you can make the font bold. You can increase the font size. Click OK. And here it is. Now let's close the Properties window. After that, double-click on the command button. Now a window will open with a private sub on it. Now write the code in the module UserForm1.show. Here you can see this is a click event. So whenever you click on this command button, it will initiate this code. Here I use the show method to display the UserForm1. At this time, let's close the VB editor. Now all things are done. You can use your newly created search box. At first, turn off the design mode. Now click on the command button. The user form will appear. Select the drop-down option for selecting field. Let's select the customer ID and search for 110 in the search for box. And the result appears. In this tutorial, I have shown several methods to create a search box in Excel. Follow them carefully to do it yourself. Use the one that comes in handy for you. Download the workbook from the description box so you can practice it yourself. If you have any questions, suggestions or feedback, please let us know in the comments section. You can have a glance at exceldemy.com or join our thriving Exceldemy community forum where you can post your Excel and VBA challenges and get solutions from experts and fellow users. If you like this video, consider subscribing and click the bell icon. Thanks for watching.